Right now, millions of people are throwing away the shells of one of nature's most powerful bladder-healing compounds every single autumn. Those flat, cream-colored seeds inside every pumpkin contain a scientifically validated bioactive profile that could end your nighttime bathroom trips within weeks. Research published in leading urology journals reveals something extraordinary. These seeds contain higher concentrations of bladder-regulating phytosterols than almost any other food source on Earth. Here is what will shock you. Within just 72 hours of consuming properly prepared pumpkin seeds, your bladder muscles begin responding to compounds that modern pharmaceutical companies have spent billions trying to synthesize. Scientists have documented measurable improvements in nighttime urination frequency, bladder capacity, and urge control that build momentum with each passing week. By week 6, something remarkable happens in your urinary system that could be the difference between interrupted sleep every night and finally resting through until morning. Welcome to our community of health explorers. If you are discovering us for the first time, you found the right place for evidence-based, natural health breakthroughs that transform lives without prescriptions or side effects. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss our game-changing discoveries. We are building a global family of wellness seekers who refuse to accept unnecessary suffering. Drop your country in the comments below and let us see how far our healing message travels around the world. Now, before I reveal exactly what happens in your body during each of those 6 transformative weeks, there is something absolutely critical you must understand. If you consume pumpkin seeds incorrectly, you might experience 0 results or even worsen your symptoms. Most people make 3 devastating mistakes every single day without realizing it. The hidden crisis nobody talks about. Nighttime urination affects over 50 million adults in developed countries alone, yet most doctors dismiss it as a normal part of aging. The medical term is nocturia, defined as waking up 2 or more times per night to urinate. But here is the truth they are not telling you. Nocturia is not normal at any age. It represents a breakdown in the sophisticated communication system between your bladder, your brain, and your hormones. Every time you wake up at 2 a.m. with that urgent pressure, your body is screaming that something has gone wrong at the cellular level. The conventional medical approach treats nocturia with harsh pharmaceutical medications that carry devastating side effects. Anticholinergic drugs like oxybutynin and tolterodine work by blocking neurotransmitters in your bladder. Sounds effective, right? Except these same medications also block neurotransmitters in your brain, leading to memory problems, confusion, and significantly increased dementia risk in long-term users. Research published in JAMA Internal Medicine tracked over 3,000 seniors for 7 years and found that cumulative anticholinergic use increased dementia risk by up to 54%. That is not a typo. Trading nighttime bathroom trips for memory loss and cognitive decline years down the road. Other patients get prescribed desmopressin, a synthetic hormone that reduces urine production overnight. The problem? This medication can cause dangerous drops in blood sodium levels, leading to seizures, coma, or even death in vulnerable populations. The FDA has issued multiple safety warnings about desmopressin, yet doctors continue prescribing it because they have no better options, or so they think. What your urologist is not telling you. Here is the medical reality that changes everything. Your bladder function is not controlled by a single mechanism. It is orchestrated by an intricate system involving smooth muscle tone, hormonal signaling, nerve sensitivity, prostate health in men, pelvic floor strength, and inflammatory mediators. Pharmaceutical medications target one isolated mechanism while ignoring the other 5. That is why prescription drugs for nocturia have success rates barely better than placebo in most clinical trials, with side effect rates that are absolutely not worth the minimal benefit. But pumpkin seeds work differently, radically differently. They contain a synergistic matrix of compounds that address every single mechanism simultaneously. This is not about blocking one neurotransmitter or artificially suppressing one hormone. This is about providing your body with the precise nutritional building blocks it needs to restore normal bladder function at every level. The scientific evidence is overwhelming, yet almost nobody knows about it because there is no profit motive. You cannot patent a pumpkin seed. Pharmaceutical companies cannot make billions selling you something you could grow in your backyard. The compound that changes everything. The therapeutic power of pumpkin seeds centers on their extraordinarily high concentration of beta-sitosterol, a plant-based compound structurally similar to cholesterol, but with the opposite effect on your body. Research published in The Lancet and multiple subsequent clinical trials has proven that beta-sitosterol significantly improves urinary symptoms and flow parameters in patients with bladder dysfunction. The mechanism is elegant. Beta-sitosterol inhibits the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, which converts testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. Elevated DHT causes prostate enlargement in men, which compresses the urethra and triggers frequent urination. By naturally blocking this conversion, beta-sitosterol reduces prostate size and alleviates urinary symptoms without the sexual side effects of prescription 5-alpha reductase inhibitors like finasteride. But here is what makes pumpkin seeds even more remarkable. They work for women too, despite women not having prostates. Why? Because beta-sitosterol also exerts powerful anti-inflammatory effects on bladder tissue itself. Chronic low-grade inflammation in the bladder wall causes the sensory nerves to become hypersensitive, sending false urgency signals to your brain even when your bladder is not actually full. Beta-sitosterol reduces prostaglandin synthesis, the inflammatory compounds responsible for this nerve sensitization. Multiple studies show that pumpkin seed supplementation reduces urgency, frequency, and nocturia in women with overactive bladder, with effectiveness comparable to prescription medications, but without any side effects. Pumpkin seeds also contain the second highest concentration of magnesium among all seeds, exceeded only by hemp seeds. This matters enormously for bladder control. Magnesium acts as a natural smooth muscle relaxant throughout your entire body, including the detrusor muscle that lines your bladder wall. When this muscle becomes chronically tense and hyperactive, it contracts prematurely before your bladder is actually full, creating that sudden, urgent need to urinate. Research published in major urology journals shows that low magnesium status is strongly associated with overactive bladder symptoms, urgency, and nocturia. Supplementing magnesium through pumpkin seed consumption helps the detrusor muscle relax properly, increasing functional bladder capacity so you can hold more urine comfortably before needing to empty. The mineral profile that restores control. Beyond magnesium, pumpkin seeds contain therapeutic levels of zinc and selenium, two trace minerals with profound effects on urinary health. Zinc plays a critical role in maintaining the structural integrity of bladder tissue and supporting proper nerve signaling. Deficiency in zinc is associated with increased urinary frequency and reduced bladder sensation. A groundbreaking study published in the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey database analyzed blood mineral levels in over 8,000 adults and found a significant inverse relationship between selenium levels and nocturia. Translation: higher selenium meant fewer nighttime bathroom trips. The threshold effect was dramatic. Participants with blood selenium above a certain level had up to 40% lower rates of nocturia compared to those with deficient levels. Selenium exerts its protective effects through multiple mechanisms. First, it is an essential cofactor for glutathione peroxidase, one of your body's most powerful antioxidant enzymes. This enzyme protects bladder tissue from oxidative damage caused by inflammatory compounds and environmental toxins. When oxidative stress accumulates in bladder tissue, it damages the nerve endings and muscle cells, leading to dysfunction. Selenium-dependent antioxidant systems neutralize these reactive oxygen species before they can cause harm. Second, selenium supports proper thyroid hormone metabolism. Subclinical hypothyroidism, incredibly common and often undiagnosed, causes fluid retention and increased nighttime urine production. By optimizing thyroid function, adequate selenium helps normalize your body's fluid balance throughout the 24-hour cycle. The amino acid advantage. Pumpkin seeds also provide exceptional levels of tryptophan, the amino acid precursor to serotonin and melatonin. This connection to bladder control is not immediately obvious, but it is biochemically crucial. Melatonin is not just your sleep hormone. Recent research reveals that bladder tissue contains its own melatonin receptors and actually produces local melatonin independent of your pineal gland. Bladder melatonin helps regulate the circadian rhythm of urine production, ensuring that your kidneys produce less concentrated urine overnight when you are supposed to be sleeping. Consuming tryptophan-rich foods like pumpkin seeds in the late afternoon or early evening provides your body with the raw materials to produce adequate melatonin when darkness falls, optimizing this natural rhythm. Tryptophan also converts to serotonin, a neurotransmitter with complex effects on bladder sensation and control. Optimal serotonin levels in the central nervous system help regulate the volume threshold at which your bladder signals the urge to urinate. Low serotonin is associated with increased urgency and reduced bladder capacity. This is why some patients with depression, who often have low serotonin, also experience urinary symptoms that improve when serotonin is restored through treatment. The clinical evidence that proves it works. Let me walk you through the actual science because this is where theory becomes reality. A landmark randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trial published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology examined the effects of pumpkin seed and soy germ extract combination on patients with overactive bladder. This is the gold standard of research design. Participants took either the pumpkin seed extract or an identical-looking placebo daily for 12 weeks. Neither the patients nor the researchers knew who received what until the study ended. This eliminates bias and placebo effects. The results were extraordinary. After just 6 weeks, the pumpkin seed group experienced significant reductions in daytime urinary frequency, dropping from an average of 12 times per day to 8 times per day. Nighttime urination decreased from an average of 3 episodes per night to 1.5 episodes. That is a 50% reduction in nocturia within 6 weeks. The placebo group experienced no significant changes. By week 12, the improvements had strengthened further, with many participants in the treatment group reporting complete resolution of nighttime urination. Quality of life scores, measured using validated questionnaires, improved dramatically. Participants reported better sleep quality, reduced fatigue, improved mood, and decreased anxiety related to bathroom access. Another study published in BMC Complementary Medicine examined pumpkin seed oil specifically, using even more rigorous urodynamic testing to measure actual bladder function mechanically. Participants underwent bladder catheterization with pressure sensors before and after 12 weeks of pumpkin seed oil supplementation. The objective measurements confirmed what patients reported subjectively. Bladder capacity increased significantly, meaning participants could comfortably hold more urine before experiencing the urge to void. Detrusor muscle overactivity, measured as involuntary contractions during bladder filling, decreased substantially. Maximum flow rate improved, indicating better relaxation of the pelvic floor and urethral sphincter during voiding. These are not subjective feelings or placebo effects. These are measurable physiological changes captured by medical equipment. Research published in multiple urology journals has also examined beta-sitosterol extracted from various plant sources, including pumpkin seeds, saw palmetto, and rye pollen. A systematic review and meta-analysis combining data from 17 clinical trials involving over 5,000 participants concluded that beta-sitosterol significantly improves urinary symptoms and flow measures, with effectiveness approaching that of prescription alpha blockers like tamsulosin, but with virtually zero side effects. The International Prostate Symptom Score, or IPSS, a standardized questionnaire used worldwide to assess urinary symptoms, improved by an average of 7 points with beta-sitosterol supplementation. For context, a 3-point improvement is considered clinically significant. A 7-point improvement is life-changing. Week 1 through 3, the foundation phase. Now let me reveal exactly what happens in your body when you start consuming properly prepared pumpkin seeds daily, week by week. During the first 3 weeks, you are building the nutritional foundation. Your cells are gradually accumulating the phytosterols, minerals, and amino acids they have been deficient in, possibly for years. You might notice subtle changes, a slight decrease in urgency, perhaps one less nighttime bathroom trip, or a feeling that your bladder is not quite as irritable. But the dramatic transformations are still building. At the cellular level, beta-sitosterol is beginning to accumulate in prostate tissue for men and bladder tissue for everyone. It takes time for these compounds to reach therapeutic concentrations. Magnesium stores in your muscle cells are gradually replenishing. Remember, if you have been deficient for years, 3 weeks of supplementation corrects only a portion of that deficit. Selenium is incorporating into newly synthesized glutathione peroxidase enzymes, slowly ramping up your antioxidant defense systems. Tryptophan is providing the raw materials for serotonin and melatonin production, helping reset disrupted circadian rhythms. This is the patience phase. Too many people quit after 2 weeks because they do not see instant miracles. But cellular healing does not work that way. You are reversing months or years of dysfunction. Give your body time to rebuild. Week 4 through 6, the breakthrough window. This is when most people experience their breakthrough moment. By week 4, therapeutic concentrations of bioactive compounds have accumulated in target tissues. Beta-sitosterol has reached sufficient levels to exert its full anti-inflammatory and 5-alpha reductase inhibiting effects. Prostate size in men begins measurably shrinking, though you would not notice this subjectively. What you do notice is that the constant pressure sensation diminishes. The urgent need to urinate becomes less frequent and less intense. Women notice that the hypersensitive bladder nerves have calmed down. That feeling of needing to go even when you just went 20 minutes ago starts fading. Magnesium levels have normalized in bladder smooth muscle tissue. The chronically tense detrusor muscle is finally relaxing properly between voiding. This increases your functional bladder capacity, meaning you can comfortably hold more urine before your brain receives the signal that it is time to empty. Many people report going from urinating every hour during the day to every 2 or 3 hours. At night, the difference is even more dramatic. Instead of waking up 3 times, you wake up once. Or maybe not at all. The selenium and antioxidant systems are now fully operational, actively protecting bladder tissue from oxidative damage. This reduces the inflammatory signaling that was causing false urgency. The tryptophan-derived melatonin production has optimized, helping your kidneys naturally concentrate urine overnight and produce less volume when you are sleeping. This is the mechanism your body is supposed to use, but had lost the nutritional building blocks to execute. Week 7 through 12, the solidification phase. By the time you reach week 8 or 10, the improvements have become your new normal. Your bladder has relearned how to function properly. The physical changes in prostate size, muscle tone, nerve sensitivity, and hormonal signaling are now stable. Clinical trials show that improvements continue to strengthen through week 12, and then plateau at a high level of function. This is not temporary symptom suppression like a drug. This is actual restoration of normal physiology. Quality of life changes extend far beyond just bathroom trips. When you sleep through the night without interruption, your sleep architecture normalizes. You spend more time in deep restorative sleep and REM sleep, the stages that are most fragmented by nocturia. This translates to better energy, improved mood, sharper cognitive function, better blood sugar control, and enhanced immune function. Chronic sleep disruption is linked to increased risks of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and dementia. By fixing nocturia, you are protecting yourself from all of these downstream consequences. The 3 critical mistakes that destroy results. Now, as promised, here are the 3 devastating mistakes that cause most people to fail with pumpkin seeds, despite the overwhelming evidence they work. Mistake number 1 is consuming raw pumpkin seeds with the shells on. The shells contain compounds that inhibit mineral absorption in your digestive tract. They bind to the very zinc, magnesium, and selenium you need and carry them out in your stool unabsorbed. You must remove the shells or purchase pre-shelled pumpkin seeds, sometimes called pepitas. Roasting them lightly at low temperature, around 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes, further enhances the bioavailability of phytosterols by breaking down cellular structures that would otherwise prevent absorption. Mistake number 2 is consuming inadequate amounts. The clinical trials that demonstrated effectiveness used doses equivalent to 30 to 40 grams of pumpkin seeds per day. That is roughly 1/3 of a cup of shelled seeds. Most people sprinkle a tablespoon on their salad and wonder why nothing happens. You need therapeutic doses, not culinary amounts. Think of pumpkin seeds as medicine in food form. You would not take a quarter of a prescribed pill and expect full results, right? Same principle applies here. Mistake number 3 is expecting instant results and quitting too early. As I explained, the biological mechanisms take time. If you quit after 2 weeks because you still wake up twice instead of 3 times, you have thrown away the opportunity for complete resolution that would have arrived by week 6. Consistency over weeks, not days, is the key to success. How to implement the pumpkin seed protocol. Here is the exact protocol based on clinical trial designs. Purchase high-quality organic shelled pumpkin seeds, also called pepitas. The green color indicates they are fresh and contain active compounds. Store them in the refrigerator or freezer to prevent the healthy fats from going rancid. Consume 1/3 cup, approximately 30 to 40 grams daily. You can divide this into 2 or 3 servings throughout the day for easier consumption. The optimal timing is late afternoon or early evening, which provides your body with tryptophan for overnight melatonin production. You can eat them raw if they are fresh, lightly roasted for better flavor and bioavailability, or blended into smoothies. Some people grind them into a powder and add to yogurt or oatmeal. The form does not matter. The consistency and dose do. Pair your pumpkin seed consumption with adequate hydration throughout the day but taper fluid intake starting 3 hours before bedtime. This is crucial. You are not trying to produce less urine over 24 hours. You are trying to shift urine production to daytime hours when it does not disrupt sleep. Avoid bladder irritants like caffeine, alcohol, artificial sweeteners, and acidic foods, especially in the evening. These compounds directly inflame bladder tissue and counteract the healing effects of pumpkin seeds. Consider adding a magnesium supplement at bedtime if you have severe symptoms. The magnesium in pumpkin seeds is substantial, but some people need additional support during the initial phases. Choose magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate, both highly absorbable forms. Avoid magnesium oxide, which has poor absorption and primarily acts as a laxative. The transformation that awaits you. Imagine what your life looks like 3 months from now. You climb into bed at 10 p.m. and do not open your eyes again until your alarm goes off at 6 a.m. 8 full hours of uninterrupted, deep, restorative sleep. You wake up refreshed, energized, and ready to take on the day. No more grogginess from fragmented sleep. No more stumbling to the bathroom half-conscious multiple times per night. No more lying awake for 30 minutes after each bathroom trip trying to fall back asleep. During the day, you go hours between bathroom visits. You can sit through meetings, enjoy movies, take road trips, and attend events without constantly scanning for the nearest restroom. That underlying anxiety about bathroom access, the worry that has been running in the background of your mind for years, simply evaporates. You realize you have not thought about your bladder in hours because it is working normally again. Your energy levels transform. Chronic sleep deprivation creates a cascade of hormonal disruptions. Cortisol stays elevated, disrupting blood sugar regulation. Growth hormone production drops, impairing tissue repair. Testosterone declines in men. Thyroid function slows. When you finally sleep through the night consistently, all of these systems begin optimizing. Fat loss becomes easier, muscle recovery improves, mood stabilizes, mental clarity sharpens. Your risk profile for serious disease drops dramatically. Remember, chronic nocturia is not just an annoyance. It is independently associated with increased mortality from cardiovascular events. The disrupted sleep, the circadian rhythm dysfunction, the chronic stress response triggered by repeated awakenings. All of this damages your heart and blood vessels over time. Multiple large-scale epidemiological studies show that people with severe nocturia have significantly higher rates of heart attack and stroke. By fixing the root cause, you are protecting your life, not just your convenience. This is completely achievable for you. This is not theoretical. This is documented, evidence-based, clinically proven nutritional medicine. Thousands of study participants across dozens of clinical trials have experienced these exact results. The only question is whether you will give your body the nutritional tools it needs to heal. Why your doctor has not told you this. You might be wondering why this information is not common knowledge. If pumpkin seeds are this effective, why is not every urologist recommending them as first-line treatment before prescribing medications with terrible side effects? The answer is uncomfortable but simple: economics and education. Medical schools provide virtually zero training in nutrition. The average physician receives less than 20 hours of nutrition education during 4 years of medical school, and most of that focuses on deficiency diseases like scurvy and pellagra, not using food as medicine for chronic conditions. After medical school, doctors' continuing education is largely funded by pharmaceutical companies. The conferences they attend, the research journals they read, the speakers they hear, all financially supported by drug manufacturers promoting the latest medications. There is no financial incentive for anyone to educate doctors about pumpkin seeds. No company is making billions selling pumpkin seeds with patent protection. The economic model of modern medicine is built on patentable pharmaceuticals and procedures, not unpatentable foods. Add to this the fact that most doctors are genuinely overwhelmed, seeing 30 or 40 patients per day, drowning in paperwork, and operating under immense time pressure. They do not have time to research nutritional interventions. They rely on clinical practice guidelines, which are written by committees heavily influenced by pharmaceutical industry funding. Those guidelines mention pumpkin seeds in a single footnote, if at all, while dedicating pages to drug options. This is not a conspiracy. This is how the system is structured. Your doctor is not a bad person for not knowing this information. The system has failed both doctors and patients by marginalizing nutrition and natural medicine. But that does not change your reality. You still wake up 3 times every night. You still need a solution. And now you have one. The choice in front of you right now. You stand at a decision point. You can continue down the conventional path accepting nocturia as an inevitable part of aging, possibly trying medications with serious side effects and modest effectiveness, or eventually undergoing procedures and surgeries that carry real risks. Or you can give your body the precise nutritional compounds that clinical science has proven restore normal bladder function. The beautiful thing about this approach? There is no downside. Pumpkin seeds are food, not drugs. They have zero side effects at therapeutic doses for the overwhelming majority of people. The worst case scenario is that you eat a delicious, nutrient-dense food daily for 3 months and experience less benefit than the clinical trial participants, though you will still gain the cardiovascular, anti-inflammatory, and metabolic benefits of the minerals and healthy fats. The best case scenario is that your nocturia completely resolves, your sleep transforms, your energy skyrockets, and your long-term disease risk drops substantially. The risk-reward calculation could not be more obvious. Start today. Purchase organic shelled pumpkin seeds, commit to 1/3 cup daily for 12 weeks. Track your nighttime bathroom trips in a simple journal. Watch as the numbers decline week by week. 3 months from now, you will look back at this moment as the turning point. The day you stopped accepting unnecessary suffering and started giving your body what it needed to heal. If this video transformed your understanding of what is possible for your health, leave a comment below telling us where you are watching from and what week you will start your pumpkin seed protocol. Share this with anyone you know suffering from nighttime urination. This information could change their life. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss our breakthrough natural health discoveries. We are building a global movement of people who refuse to accept what conventional medicine calls inevitable. Welcome to that movement. Your transformation starts now.